Question: what if I told you that being a great dad will make you a great CEO? That is the powerful truth behind the idea of work-life integration. Now, I know you've heard a lot about work-life balance. I don't like that term because, number one, it tends to pit work against life as if work is not part of life. Number two, it gives the idea, and people try actually to do it, to equitably distribute time and resources to the various aspects of life, kind of ticking all the boxes. The boxes or buckets being, number one, the personal life, which constitutes your spiritual, your physical, your emotional, mental life. The other bucket being family, the third bucket being professional life, and the fourth bucket is your community life, or rather external community life, because I believe your family is your first community, right? So work-life balance basically, it's like making sure that you give something what is due to each of these. But the idea of work-life integration is to harness the power of one bucket for all the three. I like to call it buy one get three free, so that being a great dad enhances being a great community leader, church leader, and makes you a better CEO. One great example I found of this was the current CEO of Nike, when he was heading Bain. In fact, he wasn't heading Bain then; he was a consultant with Bain. Later, he went to eBay as a CEO, and now he's with Nike. His name is John Donahoe. John decided that he was going to prioritize his children and take his children to school himself every morning. His wife had other things to do. Guess what? He went straight to tell the people he was consulting for, I'm going to work hard for you. I'm going to give you my best, but I cannot be here before 10 a.m. You know how that totally, first of all, brought such respect there. And number two, the cooperation of his own team, knowing that, John has to do this for his family. And John himself gave his best when he was at work. I mean, he was surprised by how successful he was because he was integrated in his life. So the work-life integration means this. First of all, you remember integrity is come from the Latin root integritas, which means whole. You remember integers, positive and negative whole numbers. So integrity means being whole, being entire. So work-life integration then is bringing your whole self to every one of these four aspects of life. Work-life integration means not being a different person in this bucket and different person in that bucket and different person in that bucket. In fact, I've written a blog about this. You can check it out. And one of the things I talk about is my discomfort with a platform like LinkedIn. I know every social medium has its own culture, but you find people literally apologizing for posting something related to faith or family on LinkedIn. I don't usually do this, but why would one have to apologize? That's not the integrated life. All right. Thirdly, work-life integration means that, like I said, one aspect of your life is able to enhance the other. It is actually bringing the powers of every one of these four aspects of life to enhance your entire life. I'll give you a few examples of these. So, for example, and I found this very interesting with Facebook, two examples from Facebook, that in the early days of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg actually made sure that their strategy meetings happened at home Monday evenings, so he could be at home with his family. Facebook COO Sheryl Sandberg as well also shares how she used to bring her children to work at Facebook, and that Facebook had made it such that it was a very welcoming environment for children. The children loved it because they get to have pizza. They got to play with Legos that the engineers had made available to their little visitors and things like that. There is a bank in Ghana, Data Bank actually, that has made a space, a nursery for nursing mothers. So you can come home, you can work, you can nurse at work, and that's awesome. And they also have a space for a quiet time, and if you are familiar with Accra, a lot of people leave home at dawn to beat the traffic, and they can get to work and find a space where they can nourish their soul. These are some of the ideas, that make work-life integration happen. I'll give you one personal example. When I just handed over as CEO of International Student Ministries Canada last week, and when I became CEO 8 years ago, one of the things I did, I wanted to travel the entire country of Canada, which is the second widest country on earth, but I wanted to hear from our various staff, across the country from the ground, what the concerns were, what was happening on the ground to be effective as a CEO as we strategized. Guess what? Work-life integration came up with an idea. Why don't we travel the whole country together as a family? And that's what we did. For 30 days, we were on the road. We traveled basically from the East Coast. We live in Montreal all the way to Victoria, which is beyond Vancouver on the West Coast. Staying with various families, staying with various staff, sometimes in hotels. We rented a van, traveled, and our children are homeschooled. So what an experience, experiencing geography and history, and wildlife, all of that in the real context of life, right? So it was a great homeschooling experience. It was a great fun family trip. As far as the children are concerned, this was a fun family trip. But guess what? I was doing my work as CEO. We came back home having not only all this wonderful family experience and memories, but we had clocked about 13,000 kilometers as well. So it will take a lot of open-mindedness to this idea of work-life integration. It will take a lot of hard work, a lot of experimentation, a lot of creativity and innovation, a lot of discomfort sometimes. But I want to assure you that when we get it right, it really does work. Try it. Not just work-life balance, but work-life integration, that we may be whole. Personal, professional, family, and external community life. God bless.